Don't wait too long to put the past aside. Don't forget to remember to connect inside. Living your best life, living your best life in the darkest of times. Giving the meaning of being alive. When I am looking deep within your eyes. When I am looking deep within your
Well, good evening, good afternoon, good morning, wherever you are. My name is Timaeon, and I am making comment and answering any questions you might have based on my own experience. We each have a unique experience, and one of the characteristics of mine is that I meditate every day for over 50 years. So I'm answering questions on anything's good. And if I seem a little distracted, the TikTok viewers, is I'm also going live on YouTube. Nobody's actually turned up yet, but we'll see what happens. So let's have a look. Come back to earth. Tracy. Tim, when we sit in meditation, single point of concentration, why does the mind find objects to rob us of our peace? Yeah. Well, the thing is, where there is single-pointed concentration, then, that's job done, because you can't be single-mindedly concentrating and chatting at the same time. So as you get a greater momentum, Tracy, what you're going to find is that your capacity to choose what you're going to think when will increase. So to start with, for quite some time, it's difficult. But then you get absorbed. You find that there's an aspect of concentration where absorption comes, and it's as if you're held. Now, the other thing is it depends on where you're focusing, how you're focusing. If you have problem focusing with your eyes closed, then meditate with your eyes open for a bit so that you can reclaim your mind, reclaim your focus, reclaim your concentration from the internal chatter. We spend most of the day allowing this just to ramble on, and most of us don't even realize that's what's happening. So with metacognition, Metacognition means to be aware what you're thinking when you're thinking it. And it demands a little bit more awakeness. And that's what we're coming into. And as that awakeness increases, we have more power. It gets much more difficult for the mind to take control, for the mind to hijack our attention. It's all about waking up. And one of the benefits of waking up, which we are doing collectively and no doubt individually, is that we get more control over what we think and when. But that's the whole game, basically, because we've been identifying as the thinker, and it's not helpful, and it's not who we are. And actually, that false identity is what keeps us bound. But it's very, very convincing until you recognize the witness. Now, when you recognize the witness, to start with, it's either you're caught in your mind or you're the witness. But eventually it becomes you're able to be awake as the witness to what's going on. And so you can edit it in real time. You can feel your signal. So if you come out of alignment in real time, you can bring it back in again. And this is another gift that comes with increasing awakeness. Okay, so let's have a look. Almas was here. Sir, can you tell us about the activating third eye? Yeah, I mean, it's actually very simple to activate the third eye, but it's not a thing for curiosity. You know, my teacher showed me how to activate the third eye, as you call it, and I have meditated on the third eye for at least 15 minutes every day for over 50 years. And I can tell you the third eye is something incredible. It sees everywhere. It sees reality, it sees illusion. It sees in all domains. It crosses all domains. Absolutely extraordinary. So the thing though is why, and you can look in books and things, and that they'll show you how to do it, but it's really, I would suggest you get shown it properly. You have a proper initiation. When you're ready, you're shown the third eye, you're shown the third ear. You've got a third eye that sees within, you've got a third ear that hears within. So, and that becomes a proper process. So that would be, you're asking me, remember. So the way I did it was I found my teacher, Dr. Prem Rawat, and when he'd explained to me everything and made it very clear about what meditation was and what it wasn't, and when he destroyed my expectations and concepts, then he gave me the instruction how to do it. But by that time, I was prepared to do it every day, because it's not something you want to be shown and then just think, not really get into it. So I don't know if I've answered that very clearly, but it is something. It really is something. And how it works is just extraordinary. It sees in all domains. Encourage viewers to share. Yeah, that's a good idea. Share, please. Boss Bitch Fairy Fae Group 7. What is your opinion on soul contracts? Do you believe we are all pre-plan our earthly lives alongside God? Well, one thing I would say is this, is that, hi there, Boss Bitch. I would say that soul contracts definitely appear to be a thing for some people. Soul contracts. But for me, it's a minor mystery. And there are many minor mysteries. And what I have come to realize is that as you don't know how much time you've got, on this planet, I would suggest that you put your first and make your first priority becoming clear about what is the major mystery, the self, reality, what is real. Now, soul contracts are part of the matrix. They're part of the appearance. They're part of the drama. They're part of the grand display. They're part of the illusion. And as such are part of the minor mysteries. So first, I would say, establish clearly what is reality, what is equally, everywhere, always, already, what it is that does not change, what is the ground of being. Become clear about this. And then soul contracts, you'll see whether they're real or not, how real they are, how important they are, or whether it is just a figment of this great illusion. Do you believe we are all pre-planned our earthly lives alongside God? Well, it doesn't appear like that, does it? It appears like we do have choices. There was a very interesting thing where this hypnotist, he hypnotized 1,000 people, and he hypnotized them back to the place just before they came in, just before they were born. And apparently 70% of these people said the same or similar thing, which was that before they took birth, they were shown a handful of people and a handful of circumstances that were going to happen whatever else happened. Doesn't matter what else happened, these were destined and definitely going to happen. Which I think is interesting because it shows that it doesn't have to be, is it all pre-planned or not pre-planned? It can be a bit pre-planned and a bit not pre-planned. And so I would go with that answer. Where are you? I am here. Thoughts on the world being run by PDFs. Yeah, it is. Oh, we got some people turned up on YouTube. Hi, I am Roland. Nice one. Nice one. Nice to see you guys. Okay, so yeah, thoughts on the world being run by pedophiles. I mean, what the fuck? It's not just pedophiles. These are baby eating, murdering. They were getting young girls, then making them pregnant, then taking the babies, then murdering the babies ritualistically, then eating them. What kind of human beings are these? I mean, I just find it amazing. And that it's so completely, it's everywhere. So, it's just very, it needs to be cleaned out. And this is what's coming. We're all got the possibility of moving up onto a different timeline, the whole of humanity. A new day is possible. Another way is possible. A new day is possible. And as that light starts shining, all the filth that was unimaginable to the normal person is being made, we're seeing it. And there will be a great reckoning, and there'll be a big clean out, because basically humanity has to do that in order to continue. How can these people come on? How can they continue? Something has to be done with them. That cannot continue. It's not part of the new timeline for humanity. Okay, so thoughts, that one. I'm not the thought, mind, or body. But equally, you're not that either. Because you kind of are that. But we say, I am the self. But actually, the thought mind and the body, they're all part of the same thing. So it's not true to say you are it, and it's also not true to say you're not it. And so we are conditioned in this dual thinking to see things as either this or that. Extremes. It's either this or it's that. It's either right or it's wrong. We've got to see that actually reality is other than that. It can be right, wrong, neither right or wrong, or both right and wrong, or something else. So, but I get your point. It's a good place to start. I'm not the thought mind or the body. Then if you're not that, what are you? And there's the question. There's the wonderful question. If I'm not my body, if I'm not the avatar that I'm playing, if I'm not the mind that is part of the avatar I'm playing, who am I? Okay, let's have a look. Okay, boss bitch, are you still there? What have you got to say? Hello? Okay, she's not there. 419, where are you? Disconnectable. Okay, where have you gone? Anybody there? Anybody there? No. Okay. Disconnect. Sorry for that interruption. So, where have you got to? Oh. Okay, here we go. Hello, pale horse. I have had my Kundalini awaken powerful and dangerous. Yeah, well, this is it. You see, there's a gentle way, a natural way of awakening the Kundalini, and there's all jumping about. People do this jumping about. Tibetans jumping about, and hopefully to shock it or blast it up. It could be a powerful force for you, and can shoot you right out of your body, causing all kinds of stuff. But there is a natural and gentle way of bringing the energy up into the top of the head where it gently throbs. And the thing is, if you try too hard to make things happen in the sort of meditative world, you lose the plot. Everything happens in the most wonderful, timely, beautiful way if you approach it from the right point. But if you're trying to attain something, if you're trying to achieve something, if you're trying to fulfill some concept, you'll miss the subtle subtle intuitions, the subtle metacognitive instructions about how to do it, what and when, to get it to work properly. So, and even if the Kundalini arises, it's an awakening of a subtle body, not necessarily. And that doesn't mean that the awakening of that subtle body is permanent either. For a moment, you see the chakras. For a moment, there's a vantage point where you actually see a 1,000-petal, beautiful 1,000-petal shimmering lotus. But that closes down after a while. It's a temporary phenomenal experience of your subtle body, and not to be confused with recognizing the unchanging awareness, which is the whole goal. If you get the unchanging awareness, then you know what's real and what isn't. Without it, you're lost. Because it's a labyrinth of minor mysteries and fascination. Very alluring. Can you tell us why the elite sacrifice children? Ram Giddy, it's weird. Is it because they want to prove that there's the only ignorant people think that there's good and evil, that actually there's no consequence for anything and all actions are empty, and we'll prove that we believe that by doing the absolute worst and going, see, nothing happens? I don't know. I mean, I really don't know what they would get out of that. But one of the ways that it works is that if you're in a group of people where everyone in that group has seen everyone else commit a vile and terrible act, then you're assured of secrecy. Then you're assured of loyalty, shall we call it. But it's very strange. And the other thing is that if you've ever been in a room where a child is born, the room fills with the most beautiful presence. And same when somebody dies, at the moment of death, it's like there's a presence in the room. Something is released and the room fills with presence. And traditionally, black magicians, sacrifice to harness that energy. I mean, at the end of Ramadan, they're going to kill millions of sheep. And that same thing, that same blood sacrifice creates an energy, which then is qualified through the prayers and whatever. And, they use it that way. So I don't really know, Ram. I really don't. I think I'm awakening, but my spouse isn't. Yeah. Watch out for that one. Watch out for that one. It's not your business. It's not your business about whether your spouse is or isn't. And you think you're awakening and you think he isn't. I would leave that well alone. Just focus on your awakening. Be grateful. And if you are awakening, Summer, you're going to be kind and compassionate. The danger is that the awakening becomes your thing, and then he feels polarized into being unawake. You might have an idea what awakening is, which could be completely false. And he could turn out that his natural way. So you have to be very careful about that, because you don't want to get that kind of thinking happening. You don't really know. It's not measurable. Let him be. Don't make him wrong for not having your awakening. Do you see what I'm saying? I mean, I don't mean to be, but I've seen it, where a couple, and one of them, the wife, takes spirituality becomes her thing, and then the husband is kind of considered not spiritual, which is nonsense. Jesus Christ, I didn't expect to meet you here. Good day, Unc. Darkness is faster than light. Everywhere light goes, darkness was there first. That's an interesting comment. Darkness is faster than light. Everywhere light goes, darkness was there first. Except that darkness doesn't go anywhere. Darkness isn't a thing. It's just the absence of a thing. And the thing that darkness is the absence of is light. Isn't that so? Yes. Good evening, good evening. I love everything about this, says Michael Roots Hinsdale. It's like an AI. It's like that's a compliment. It's just like AI. Before we would go, wow, that AI is so lifelike. It's just like a human. And now we're going, oh wow, it's like AI. Isn't that good? But it's not, it's okay. Roland. So now I'm here. Haha. Okay. I don't know what happened to YouTube. It's still there, but there's nothing much going on. I suppose at some point something will happen. Hi Tim, there you're back. Okay. Something will happen or not. I just thought I'd try it out and see, but we'll see. What does it mean to be one with God? That's a good question. What does it mean to be one with God? Until we see how it truly is, we have the sense of being separate, individual, independent. and maybe we believe in God. But when you do meditation and go within, you find your signal, the core sense of you. And as you rest as that simple sense, I am, as you rest as that, you realize that your signal actually, as it becomes more and more coherent, it is one with the field, the quantum field, the unified field, God. And you realize that's always been your state. And that's the state of everything. But now you've realized it consciously. And that allows you to expand into awareness, into God, unchanging awareness, God, same. It's a beautiful, beautiful awakening. That's what the awakening is. You realize that the divine is within you. And when you feel your individual sense of I am, it links into the field. I am that I am. I'm not just I am, but I also am that I am. Amazing. The people that run the world are either demon possessed or in the service of the demonic. Certainly looks like that, doesn't it? I mean, come on. It certainly looks like that. I'm amazed. You know, all those people, all those government ministers and, you know, business leaders and actors, they all turn up at church on Sunday. You know, they're all there. Unbelievable. Ella dropped in at the perfect time. I'm so glad I found you. Well, that's great. Lord Mikey, we are on the cusp of a new day. I think so. I've waited a long time for this. I've sat still, waiting, hoping, praying for a long time, decades. When this vision first came into being in the early 70s, in a wave of psychedelic glory, and from that moment to this, and now look where we are. The darkness is being exposed and the light is on. And you go onto these TikTok or YouTube or wherever, and people are having their realization. People are having their awakening, just like we prayed for, just like we hoped for. And it's happening. Great darkness is there, but so is the awakening. But do the satanic elites get capital punishment? Well, that's not my choice. That's not my decision. But I would think there would be a pretty huge swell of opinion to give them capital punishment. If they've taken the lives of babies, you know, I don't really believe in capital punishment, or I didn't up to this. So it would have to think very carefully about it, because this is heinous. This is a level of debauched evil, like of which I don't think we've ever really seen before. Laurel Lowe's, be teachable. Yes, that's great. That's a very good way of being. If who you're being is, listen, the way I see it is this, right? It's my responsibility how I get the teacher, whoever it is, right? So say I come across, oh, this teacher's coming to town. Okay, I'll go and see him. How I get the teacher is given by who I'm being that the teacher is. Everybody will get the teacher differently. So being teachable means who I'm being that the teacher is somebody who can give me something of ultimate value. that may well transform how life occurs for me. Teachable. And that's my responsibility. It's not for the teacher to make me teachable. It's for me to be teachable and approach with that beingness so that when I encounter the teacher, I get the best from him rather than projecting onto him all my stuff. Emma Poe, so hard to meditate. You know why, Emma? Because you don't do it enough. You can't just suddenly turn off your mind. But if you persist, if you keep going, you will find it gets easier and easier and easier. Why do we serve as people the elite? Now we know we still serve them. That to me is unacceptable, yeah. And that is unacceptable. And increasingly, we will stop doing that and we'll find out who the elites are and that will be sorted out, God willing. So hard to meditate. So yeah, Emma. And as we progress, the capacity to choose what we're going to think and when gets greater. The more you sit in stillness, the greater your awakening comes. The awakening is enhanced in stillness, in focus. It's not difficult, neither is it easy. There is something that values and commentates and characterizes everything, wouldn't you say? Oh, you can't, not doing it right. No, I'm not, am I? Yeah, you never be able to do meditation. No, your mind's far too fast. You can't, it's not for you. Why don't you go and do, Pilates? Oh yeah, maybe I should do that. Something there. This is what has to be got rid of. It doesn't want to go. So to start with, it's difficult. But it gets easier and there's grace. So just when you think you can't do it, you can. So keep going. There's this great master, the 16th Karmapa. He's a Tibetan Buddhist. And, he's the head of a tremendous lineage of Buddhists, 17 teachers long, going right back. And he said, we don't give up. A lot depends on this. A lot depends on you getting connected. A lot depends on you finding your core signal and being able to rest as it, in it, and then gain coherence with the field. This is very important for you and for us. So please keep going, Emma. And don't listen to this evaluator. It doesn't know. Solo Lad, Uncle, I love you. Thank you. Laura Lowe's, you are your thoughts. Well, thankfully, I'm not. The thoughts arise spontaneously of their own accord, and their content is given by who I'm being that life is in any one moment. Laurel, I'll say that again. If you get very, very still, right? Say you were to do one of those 10-day Vipassana courses. Have you heard of them? Check it out. www.dharma.org. DHAMMA. But if you were to do that, which you could do even if you don't meditate, what you'd find is that, the thoughts arise of their own accord. They arise spontaneously as a function of consciousness. And the content of those thoughts is given by who I'm being that life is in any one moment. If I'm being angry, I'm going to have spontaneously arising angry thoughts. If I'm being hopeless, I'm going to have spontaneously arising hopeless thoughts. If I'm being conscious, I'm going to have spontaneously arising conscious thoughts. You're not the thinker in exactly the same way as you're not your digestion. Your digestion is a function of your body. Your thinking is a function of your consciousness. You're the one witnessing the thinking. If you were the thinker, it stands to reason you'd be able to tell yourself to shut up. And you'd stop because you're the thinker. But the mere fact you can't tell yourself to shut up and have it stop means that you're not the thinker. I mean, that's just logic. Haggis, we are the universe experiencing ourselves. We are the universe experiencing ourselves. Shiva. Yeah, okay. Emma, haha, boss B word. He's so cute saying it, lol. Okay, I'm here. Good. All is love. That is the most beautiful place, hi, where you see it as love. Yes. In meditation, is meditation a sort of disconnection off the real world in that moment? The real world. The real world. What are you calling the real world? Meditation will show you if the world is actually real or not. Roland, when you're in a deep sleep and you have a dream, it seems that that is the real world. You got to shine a new car in your dream. You're thrilled. It's real. You can feel the thrill of it. You get in, you can feel speed. And then you wake up and the whole thing was equally real, was equally unreal. You couldn't say it didn't exist. It exists in an insubstantial manner, but you cannot say it was real. And it's exactly the same here. This is what the dawn of reality shows. That it appears real. Just like a sleep dream appears real until you wake up. What wakes us up on this level is the recognition of unchanging awareness. That's what wakes us up. So, and then from there, you recognize that this world cannot be said to be not real, but it cannot be said to be substantially real. It's just appearance. Yeah? So is meditation a sort of disconnection off the real world in that moment? No, you come right into it. You come right into what actually truly is. Emma, I see black and never images. When you close your eyes and look, only you need to look again, Emma, because it's not black, is it? Look again. What is the content there? What's actually there? Do it now. Close your eyes and look again. It's not just black. It's not matte black, is it? What is it? What's actually going on when you really look with your eyes closed? That sounds weird. Looking with your eyes closed, what do you see? It's not black. Have a look and tell me. Tim, another question if you have time. I see in meditation that energy from the 1500s. Well, that's unusual. That's unusual, Tracy. Not every time. Normally, when I've been working hard with others in pain. Well, there are things called samskaras. And samskaras are imprints from previous experience. And they're said to be of three types. The first samskara is said to be like writing on the shoreline, and it stays there for however long. The tide comes, it's writing on water. So you have a thought and you write, it's like writing on water, it's instantly gone. No imprint really left. The second level is like writing on a shore. in the sand. So that imprint stays for maybe a day or whatever. And then the third level is like writing on granite. So some of the things that we feel, which had massive imprint in another time, on certain levels, we resonate with them again. Memory is not so much chronological as vibrational. So you're saying when you get into working really hard with people in pain, it resonates with some energy from way back there in the plague or whatever it was. Because the last time you were on that level of stress or whatever you want to call it, trauma, stress, help out, triage, whatever, it was back there. And somehow you're vibing with it. But each time you do that, it should work its way through until it is no more, till it's all done. It's not there forever. Relax, release, let go, and let God. Yeah, I like that. Relax. Hey, relax. Tim, relax. Okay. Release. Oh. Huh. Let go and let God. Thank you for that, Laura. I can relax, release, let go, and let God now. Start enjoying. It's not me. It's not up to me. I'm not the doer. When you have that experience of not being the doer, then things go really well. And then you kick in and say, I'm doing this, or I did that, and it doesn't go well. Have you noticed that? Lalam Bamwell, is the unchanging to be of love of all? Is the unchanging to be of love of all? I'm not quite sure what you mean by that. Is the unchanging to be of love to all? I don't know. Okay. Absolutely, they get adrenochrome. Incredible, isn't it? Didn't Buddha say the only permanence is impermanence? Yeah, but he's talking about things, right? Unchanging reality is equally everywhere, always, already. It's timeless. Time is contained, held by it. Space is within it. All phenomena are within it, yet it's not a thing. So it's not permanent, neither is it impermanent. This goes back to what we were saying in the beginning. Neither is it both permanent and impermanent. Neither is it both permanent and impermanent. Your mind will not get a handle on it. But unchanging awareness, you can be one with. Not loyalty, blackmail. Yeah, but they do it. You know, the thing with Epstein is he was very charming. You can see by the way people responded to him, he kind of charmed them. And so the blackmail aspect was kept at I would imagine, at a very low key. It was there as an unspoken threat. But the loyalty to the inclusion in the secret cabal. But I don't know. Pray for your spouse. Yes, why not? Obviously, working with healing is this universal compassion opening. Yeah, I mean, universal compassion, when you're out of the way, you'll feel universal compassion. There's never going to be a time when Tracy feels the real compassion. It's when you're out of the way. It flows into you, through you, into whatever. It's not something you do. It's a miracle that occurs when you're a clearing for it. Kian, Do you believe fasting can strengthen one's connection to the self or the divine? Well, that's a good question, especially for all the Muslims that are now entering into Ramadan. I've done a little bit, yeah, but so can eating. So can a good meal. Yeah, it can. Yeah, and I wish them all very good, very well. I think it helps people that the whole world, that, you know, a billion people, billion Muslims are fasting. You know, I think that's really something. It's good for them and it's good for us. I ran into a 9-foot tall extraterrestrial who was telepathic in my backyard, says Mark. You know, Mark, you're not the only one. You're not the only one. I ran into a telepathic extraterrestrial. Must have been about 6 weeks ago during Atlas 3I. It didn't take form on this plane. It took form inside of me. And I said, what are you doing here? It said, we'll come to heal you. It'll take about 20 minutes. So it gave me, I turned over and then I fell into a deep sleep. And since that time, it's incredible what's happened. And it's even measurable. So yeah, I get that. But obviously a lot of people would find that impossible to believe, but I actually do believe that. You know, reality is vast. You know, the display is anything's possible. Anything's possible. 9 foot tall, that is big. They say that the beings from Venus are tall and beautiful and loving. I wonder if it was one of them. Okay. Christ is great. Don't use his name in vain. Christ is great. Why would we use it in vain? Do you like Trump? No. Trump is, from my view, is pretty much everything that a president should not be. You know, I don't mean to upset anybody who thinks differently, but to me, he's an abomination. Apparently, he stinks of shit. When you stand around him, he stinks of shit. What does that tell you? And the things that he says and his mindset. This is a man who's never got drunk, who's never taken drugs, apparently, who's never seen the higher states, the higher mind, the world of incredible possibility. He's never seen any of that. Never read a book, didn't even read his own book. No, you know, how did we end up there with him? Because it's part of a plan and people put him there. Was a behold the light, he said, bending over. Okay. Darkness can't enter light, but light can enter darkness. Yes. Do you like Trump? No. Do you like Trump? No, you don't have to keep asking. Darkness wouldn't exist without light. Yin yang. Okay, that's not how I see it, Wilson. In the realm of appearance, right, there is a darkness and there is a light. There's good, there's evil, right? But they are actually completely empty and everybody gets them differently. However, the light that I'm talking about is the clear light. And that light is equally everywhere, always, already. It has no opposite. It pervades the hell realms. It pervades the heaven realms. It pervades these realms. So there's the real light and there's the light of the world, the illusory light. You're talking about the illusory light, a dual system, yin and yang. I'm talking about the non-dual light. Do you like Trump? You keep asking. Behold the light, he said, Ben. I ran into a 9-foot. Oh, we've done that one. Guys, how do we use AI? Well, to sort out the really important problems like climate change, fair distribution of food and resources, for the good things. Some people I instantly like, says John Week. You are now one of them. Cheers. Thanks for sharing. That's a nice thing to say, John. Mark Webb, I ran into, you keep doing it. I think YouTube is going down the MySpace path. Yeah, it might be. I expected a little bit more action. But it's yeah, okay, well, so anyway, we're here, all right, aren't we? And we've had 12K loves and 512 people passing by and 37 on board. So it's all good. Has anyone ever told you you look like God? Says Excellencies. Well, the thing about that is that if you were to ask, someone in Indonesia in the jungle, they wouldn't say I look like God. The idea that God has a long grey beard was from going back from Jehovah to Moloch to Baal to El. And that was a sort of transition of this demiurge thing. And El was the one with the beard. So they kind of kept that. I mean, the idea that God has a human form and has human characteristics that are nasty, belligerent, hateful, misogynistic, cruel. That's not my God. And I'm afraid we're going to have to accept the fact that the God of the Old Testament is not the God that Jesus, the Christ, is talking about in the New Testament. And Christians need to wake up to that fact, because the Old Testament hasn't really got any place linked up with the New Testament, in my view. Do you believe in Jesus? Yeah, Jesus came. Jesus the Christ. Beautiful being came to show people the kingdom of heaven within. Yes, but the whole thing got warped. There were two councils, one about 100 years after him, and then the Council of Nicaea in 300 years after Jesus. And the whole story was changed. And also Paul, the Apostle Paul, warped the story and changed it, not as Jesus wanted it or presented it, but as he thought it should be. And he's responsible for 13 of the 27 books in the New Testament. So it's not the way that Jesus the Christ is presented nowadays. It's not what it was. Jesus the Christ answered my call and came to me. And after that, I put the Bible down. After that, I put Christianity down. I saw how clear it was that those things, Christianity today and the Bible, they aren't, if you know the Christ, you don't need that. Mark Webb, okay, you keep getting that one. We are God because he can only exist in our holy brains. No. God exists in the heart, in your heart, the divine, that which is life itself, the miracle of life happening, the divine within you, the Holy of Holies, that which is truly sacred. People not knowing what is truly sacred, they go around making things sacred. Like in my town, there was this statue of the Bernardian child. Somebody moved it, and everybody started talking about it being sacred. It's just a stone. What is truly sacred is not sacred because humans designate it as such. What is truly sacred is sacred. And when you place your attention upon it, you feel that. And the brain has a part in that. But consciousness is not entirely dependent on the brain. You know, when you leave your body, when you astrally project, what's happening then? The worst people in the world. Yeah, civil war soon, says Tai Tai and friends. Yeah, maybe you're right. In my heart, you're in space. Okay. Martin, I ran into it. Yeah, we got that one. 2009 was all bullshit. Yeah. The Anunnaki brothers are coming to visit this year. Let's hope so. We've got a few words to say to them. Maybe they've got some new genes for us. That's a weird thing, isn't it? Maybe they got some new genes for us. Because one of the ideas about Atlas 3I was that it was coming and ejecting this biological bio substance into the atmosphere that would change the biology of everything, including humans, which I thought was like, wow. To see how much we caved with, the lockdowns. Yeah, I've decided to be happy. It's better for you. Go there, Warsaw. Go on. The energy harvest, a lot of us, is naming comment of people's names that don't even comment. So weird. Yeah, I've decided to be happy. I like that. Okay, I'm going to have to leave you now, but I will be back tomorrow at 1 p.m. and at 6 p.m. I'm sorry that I haven't got to get to your questions because I have to go. I have an appointment, but let's have one track of this music and sit with me with that, and I'll see you tomorrow. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your gifts, and thank you for being here. Okay, here we go. This is called The Inventor of Love, and it's available on all platforms.